KUB is now asking customers to reduce their natural gas use. Earlier this week, a pipeline ruptured in Middle Tennessee, cutting supply from one of several pipelines that serve East Tennessee. Repairs could last until early to mid-January. Right now, KUB says mild weather is keeping demand for natural gas low, but that could change.
So knowing that the repairs could take longer, we're having to keep that in mind, and we're doing that by encouraging our customers who are willing to conserve their natural gas usage.
KUB says you can turn down thermostats on natural gas and hot water heaters and wash laundry in cold water to conserve natural gas.